So by the time you get through dealing with all of these circumstances, these event horizons, by the time you get done dealing with all of these things, it's some stuff that you got a gumbo and you don't know what's all in it. Because some of them ingredients you dumped in there, and then some other things were put in there as people were walking past your pot while you went in the kitchen throwing shit in it. Right? And so now you're eating it, and for the life of you, you can't get through to why this is happening. I mean, when I was in the heat of my addiction, as I look back on it later, I was looking to die. I just didn't have the courage to eat a bullet. But my behavior was so off the chain. If you were bad enough, then come get me. See what I'm saying? Because that's what I had. I had a death wish. But I didn't translate it as that. Because what was I doing? I was coping. So when you say you were coping, what does that mean? What that mean? What that means is you were treading water in the middle of the ocean. Coping means that I was doing enough at that precise moment just to get by. Coping means that I was engaging just enough to save myself to the next moment. I wasn't fixing anything. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So then we end up with strange stuff in the culture that convinces you that you don't have power over your addiction. When that cocaine, heroin, or whatever it is talking to you, that ain't it talking to you, that's you talking to yourself. And you're having that once in a lifetime conversation that always occurs, right? When you stress the fuck out coping. Right? Yeah. So the spirit is looking down on all this going, hey, that's not a good look. That's not good. Because that's that integral part of you that's locked into your creator, if that's what you believe. You understand me? And what it's trying to do is give you an overview of what's occurring. Right? So you have to know that then your appetite for narcotics then isn't born in your head. Right? Your head operates to either maintain the need or rid yourself of it. But in order for that to happen, a decision has to be made. And of course somebody's going, well, it's not just easy as making a decision. Yes, it is, because that's the beginning of the process. The beginning of the process doesn't mean that because I made a decision to be sober that I'm going to be sober at the moment that I declare that I'm sober. But the decision to be sober means that there's going to be a dedicated effort in my walk. Right? And I'm going to try to increase the distance between my relapse and my recovery. Make sense? So it's a struggle. But you can't fight the battle if you don't know why it's happening. You can't fight the battle if you don't know what circuitry, and I use the example with you because you're a mechanic, right? My car on the side of the road all of a sudden. If I'm a mechanic and I got my tools with me, how concerned I am about the issue? Not really. Because when I jump out of my vehicle, I'm convinced in my heart and soul that, let me fix it. So as long as the piece that I need to fix is not completely defunct, my car be rolling again. Now, if you're somebody like me who don't know nothing about cars except how to put gas in it, now you got to wait for AAA. You upset. You panicking. You mad. You worried about how much it's going to cost you. Why? Because you don't have the skill set or the knowledge to deal with the problem effectively. It's the same way with addiction, but addiction works with a dirty trick because you go through phases with addiction before it grabs you, which is, this is cool, I love it, this is something that I just do. It's a way for me to unwind, relax, slip away from the problems of the day. But then what ends up happening is it becomes habitual when you would rather deal with the illusion that you create versus the reality that you live in. And so it becomes a cheap escape. It becomes a cheap escape that you're not interested in fixing. So I build it up, I lose it all again. I build it up, I lose it all again. I build it up. And then I keep having these strange conversations with myself. I just don't know why I continue to fail. I'm doing the best I can. And then my favorite, and I pick on it because me and my buddy just disagree on that, but it's like, hey, relapse is a part of recovery. Hey, listen, man. If there's anything on earth more powerful than you, you have to show it to me. And I'm not, again, I don't want any smart ass to be like, well, what about volcanoes? And that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is the being that is man that dwells on this planet is at the top of the food chain. We come in, we fuck shit up, we leave. You understand me? Nothing hunts us, we hunt it. You know, unless of course you just one of them people that like to get up on wild animals without weapons for entertainment purposes. Something might happen to you. But what I'm saying is, just like you made the decision to involve yourself in it, how do you arrive at a place where you can't make the decision not to involve yourself in it? Now, what I'm saying to you is the same as what everybody else is saying to you. We don't arrive at truths in the community. We arrive at universal agreements that we play with in order to get what we want. Which is why y'all know my philosophy. My philosophy is I don't give a shit what you do. But like my daddy told me, don't lie to yourself. You tell any lie you want. Just don't tell it to yourself. Right? And then that's when we get into the therapeutic piece. Because I often hear a lot of people say, well, you know, if you haven't been through it, you can't tell me about it. Well, yes and no. Because I was able to understand through my own observation what a therapist could have helped me get to. Instead of me taking 20 years to get to it, I probably could have got to it in a few sessions. Because the study of the human mind as it relates to them and what have you, my philosophy was I enjoy drugs. That's why I use them. Because I didn't want to accept the fact that you were molested, that you were beaten, that you were harmed, that you were otherwise, you know what I'm saying, living in a violent way, and that became your way. I didn't want to accept that. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to accept the fact that what most men in America accept, which is we don't cry, we don't whine, you buck up, you stick your chest out, and you keep it moving. Right? Yeah. But that's not a real world philosophy to do anything. So in the meantime, while you're walking around with that crazy shit on your mind, you know, you're harming others and you're harming yourself. And you don't know why. Right? So even though me needing the narcotic was driven by my first use and my like of it and my continued use of it, right? The reason why I was able to slip into addiction so quickly is because there were other circumstances, encounters, right? Things that occurred that were operating in the background that was driving my self-hate because I didn't like me much. I didn't like me much, I didn't like my life much, and I wasn't interested in being here. You know? So since I wasn't interested in being here, you understand me? I took my medicine. You see what I'm saying? And just went plumb loco. Right? But all I was doing was setting myself up for death. But I couldn't see that because I didn't want to look at that. So therapy was what was, hey man, listen, there's something else, ain't nothing else driving me, man. You know? My mother didn't hug me enough. I don't know who my daddy is. And you don't think that stresses you out? No, because I don't care. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. But because you've been a soldier for so long, again, what do soldiers do? Hey, look, man, you read the Dear John letter, you put it in your pocket, you grab your pack and your gun, and you go get to work. Because in the end, I got to survive. But now my thinking is all fried. You know what I'm saying? And what comes out of that thinking is all fried. And so I continue to indulge in these rational, sensible conversations regarding my addiction, but you're talking to yourself and you're playing both sides of the coin when, hey, look, just let's get to the bottom of it. Let's stop the bullshit. I'm not going to, don't sit in this class, bro. Well, I've come to realize the inconsistencies of my behavior and I just want the new life. That's not the truth, fuck it. I mean, it took me 20 years using because I was just convinced. Hey, man, listen, I was in groups high. Well, Mr. Willis, how do you feel about this? Well, the way I'm thinking on it is, my behaviors are inconsistent with what I need to be pursuing, and until I dig up the root causes of my initial hurt, I'm always be in this, so I need to stand up and be accountable and use these coping strategies and these methodologies that y'all are teaching me. And the teacher is going, yay! And everybody else in the class going, for real? You know he high, right? Why he dropping science? And so that's the game you play. But the game is you playing the game with yourself. You playing the game with yourself. Which is why people end up in here. And I listen, man, I keep going off about it and I see people, people like, here he go, he on the soapbox again, woo, woo, woo. But hey, guess what? I don't give a fuck what you say. You like sleeping from couch to couch? You like being homeless? You like doing anything or being subject to anybody who wants to manipulate you because you done fucked up your life and you need something? You need to be in from the cold, so because you need a couch to sleep on, somebody trying to squeeze on your booty and put their penis in your mouth? That's real shit. Don't look at me strange like I don't know what I'm talking about. We're not going to use the word junkie and addict. Why not? Why are we going to keep using pretty words to cover up an ugly ass picture? If you're out of control and you don't know why you're doing what you do, you're dangerous to yourself. And we're not going to even talk about the children you're raising, the relatives that you engage with, and the other people you screw over because you stupid. Oh, I got a problem. Yeah, you got a problem. But what you going to do about you? You know how many people walked out of this program? Man, ain't nobody trying to hear all that shit, and we ain't doing that. Key. Okay, for those of you that was just here, we already, Mr. Novi facing life, right? Mr. I need to do all I can for my son and be a father, and I done figured it out this time. Mr. 211, they gave me instructions that I didn't follow. Ain't you on your way back? Okay, good for you. Sucks to be you. All of the people that left here laughing in my face. Hey, listen, man. I go to my house. There's big screen TVs in every room of my crib. You understand me? I got everything. Am I saying it to be bold? I'm not saying it to be that, but what I'm saying is I know what it's like. Hey, I've slept in abandoned cars. I've slept in abandoned buildings. I just had to steal food out of grocery stores to eat. I done had to go lay with women 2 and 3 times my age because I needed some place to sleep because I didn't want to sleep on the street, and I'm on this shrinkle riveled up. No. And then we're not going to even talk about the game for the women and what they got to put up with. Come on, we on that kitty shit for too long. You out there in the corner or in the alleyway, you know what I'm saying, with somebody's genitals in your face, you know what I'm saying, because you're trying to get something to eat for your kids and yourself. Because your addiction got you out there butt-ass naked. So you want to curl your lips up at me and look at me strange? Yeah, okay. I jump in my whip, I watch my cable, I go where I want to go, I do what I want to do, and there can't nobody running it because I'm a law-abiding citizen with no drama. And it feels good. Yeah. Because I drive. I get the wild out when the police pull me. Why you pulling me over? Damn. Here. Because it ain't nothing on me. I'm good. I'm right. I'm in control. And my hustler's mentality hasn't changed. My go-getter mentality hasn't changed. You know what I'm saying? My need to be at the top of the food chain hasn't changed. But what is the class called? Elevate the game. If you don't know what it's like to walk in the daylight, you know what I'm saying, in the sun, try it. Try it. Because the only thing a junkie got coming, you know what I'm saying, is a closed casket or a sale. That somebody else is getting, somebody is profiting off your stupidity. Give a damn about you fucking up. Don't give a damn about you being a law-abiding citizen. You know, but when you mess up, I got some place for you. There's a whole industry established around people who cannot exercise the ability to be sovereign human beings. You can't even control yourself. Don't worry, I'll help you out. I'll help you out. You know? And while your kids are being raised by the state or your boyfriend or somebody that you don't want to deal with, or grandmama, or, you know, while your life is falling apart, while the people that need you, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, while you steady telling yourself, I'm cool, you know, okay. Hey, man. Like I put on my Facebook page, hey, man, look, guess what? If winning was easy, losers would do it. And that's not to be insulting, but I'm saying, look at what I did to myself. I'm a champion. I'm a go-getter. And I was pissing off my life. Doing nothing. Ain't you ever daydreamed about being great? Ain't nobody ever dreamed about, everybody dreams about being the hero. Ain't nobody trying to be the, you know what I'm saying? The enemy, the nemesis, you know, the negative guy. I mean, what are you going to do about you? I mean, hey man, life is a beautiful thing. And to live it on your terms. You know, self-actualization. They put words like that for Maslow's theory, self-actualization. But what is that? So that's what I want to do with you guys. While we're here, for my older guys, what do we want to engage in first and foremost? Critical what?
Critical thinking, assessment of yourself.
At every turn. I'm not telling you that life is going to be easy. I'm not telling you life is going to be fun and full of chocolate strawberries and Willy Wonka land. But what I'm telling you is that if you take the time to engage a problem and you're sharp enough to find this solution, man, that means that, like my father used to say, you don't become responsible, you become response-able. You know, my kids drive me nuts. People drive me nuts. Stupid people make my ass ache. You know? But the thing about it is that I can't let what someone else does pull me off the track that I'm on. Because I know beyond a shadow of any doubt what I got to offer the world need. You may not like the way that I present it. You may not like the color of my, you may not like a whole bunch of shit about me. But what I'm telling myself is, I got something to offer. And the lives that each one of you have led has something to offer. Now that I done beat you over the head, let me give you the positive. Hey, listen, man. If you can survive that neon light, if you can survive them dark corners, and if you can deal with all the loss and the pain that you've dealt with, why wouldn't you want to free somebody else? Why wouldn't you want to free yourself? Why the fuck are you allergic to being happy? I mean, those are the questions that you got to ask yourself. Why am I allergic to being successful? And people go, well, I had to ask myself that question. How do you go from being surrounded by dope peddlers, killers and cutthroats to being surrounded by district attorneys, pastors, all of this good stuff, and they're laying it at your feet. Hey man, we want to do a documentary on you. Hey man, we want you to do a book. Hey man, we want you to come here and speak. And you know what the truth of the matter was? I was scared to death. Now keep in mind, this is what I always wanted. I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to be up front. I'm going to be the man. They're going to give me a whole lot of money. Yeah. And then when I was presented with it, I had to go into the thinking chamber. And what I came away with was, you're afraid. Why are you afraid? Because the social you and the personal you don't match. I'm afraid that when I get out of here, my you know what I'm saying is like it, may be considered another way. I may make a mistake. I may present the wrong fact. I might not be as cold as I think I am. So I don't want to be exposed. Again, self-talk, but what is it doing? What am I doing to me?
Trying to talk yourself out of it. Trying to talk yourself
I ain't even go to my man and say, hey, let me give him the chance to tell me no. I ain't even try to talk.
Telling yourself.
You talked yourself out of $1 million or millions of dollars. Because the society and the world has taught us to be phony. You raise a young boy, hey, don't cry, man up. Men don't do this, men do this, men do that. Then we old and fucked up and ain't talking to nobody. Well, I just don't get you. You don't open up enough. Well, hold the fuck up. Wait a minute now, what you want me to do? You want me to be a stand-up guy? You want me to open up and watch Oprah with you? What you want me to do?
all that.
Exactly, but that's why I'm saying when we get into this concept of the you got to understand that it's a couple of yous going on, right? And so, coming to what we were talking about the spiritual or abstract you, right? Which represents limitless potential. And then we're talking about the physical or concrete you, right? Which has specific and limited boundaries. So they got all of these books out here now, how to be the best you can be in 13.7 hours, a new you in 28 days, or the keys to the universe, the secret of the cosmos, whatever title that they're using to give you some marvelous breakthrough about making you successful. What happens when you don't want it?
I'm not going to do it.
What happens when you don't want it?
Push you away. Pull away.
Because when I go back and I think about all my interactions and all the things that I could have done much earlier, the thing that kept me away from it was myself. I believed in God, and because I believed in God and because I knew what I was doing and how I was living, I was like, I already know I'm going straight to hell, so I won't even waste time, trying to pray or being a goody-goody, because it's not going to happen. And so you begin to make these mental trade-offs centering around a conversation that could be true or false, but it's taking place nowhere but in your mind. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous. So what we're going to do when we come in here next week, folks, for both groups is we're going to get into that. Once we moved out of that composition of the human mind and the mind, body, and soul aspect, what we're going to do is we're going to get into these spiritual and physicals. And I don't want to overwhelm anyone with, it's like, why are you always technical? Why are you always abstract? Hey man, listen, if you were a lightweight two-piece dinner, then we wouldn't have to go through these things. But because we were never given this as kids. So how do we effectively deal with ourselves when we don't even know who ourselves is? I mean, what do you really want? You're walking around with a bunch of lies in your head about you and you haven't arrived at the truth of who you are. So how am I supposed to set you free? Fuck out of here. You know, I'm the mighty case manager. Dun, 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 dun. I'm here to help you. How can I help you, Mr. Keys? It doesn't matter how much truth, how much wisdom, how much goody I lay on you, how much Bible, Quran, Talmud, whatever it is. It doesn't matter how much of that I lay on you if you don't want it. And then the scary part that nobody wants to acknowledge is, hey man, you might want to be a bum. I'm not trying to disrespect you. You know what I'm saying? But you might want to be one of them guys or girls who, hey man, you know what? I would prefer somebody else deal with the problems of life and just take care of me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to worry about bills. I don't want to worry about running the house. I don't want to worry about financial or any of those things. I want to be somewhere where, hey, that's being taken care of by somebody else. But you got to know that. You know? And I ain't trying to be disrespectful. All I'm saying is, all men are created equal. That's some bullshit. All people are created with potential. But now whether you reach your potential, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? You know, some people don't want that. Some people don't want that Bill Gates life. You know what I'm saying? Some people want that Smoker Johnny life. I know plenty of addicts that are happy outside, no responsibility, but they say, hey, look, guess what I get to do all day? I hustle for the day, and it's exciting. You know what I'm saying? Because my day depends on me. And it took me a long time to understand that, but it's a different kind of freedom. You see what I'm saying? And that freedom rests on the whole idea of my individual satisfaction. Now, what ends up happening with people's satisfaction is somebody else comes along and goes, because I'm smart, I'm cultured, I'm refined, I'm educated. You know, who would want to possibly live in a box? Smelling and precariously hoping to be taken care of in the day. Well, if that's his thing, how you gonna tell him how he happy? You couldn't possibly. Why not? I know people like that. Guess what? I don't mind living, but I don't want the headache of nobody telling me shit. I'm not mailing you no money. I'm not paying your bills. I'm not doing nothing. I'm living vicariously off the fat of the land and serious about that and happy as hell. Because they've arrived at a conclusion that is satisfactory for them. You know, somebody always want to tell you about you. What does it take to be happy? How you gonna write a book and tell me what it takes to be happy and you don't know me? Now, some of those variables might be right for me, but it's just the audacity that we take as human beings to fill each other up with our own plausible bullshit, and everybody wants to put their own brand of BS out there as the ultimate and supreme truth. It might be that way for you. You know, hey man, investment banking may be your thing. You know, you may be the Wall Street guy. You know, I think a little differently. I'm not giving my money to nobody and to no thing that I don't have direct and specific control of. You can't call me Friday morning and tell me I lost 100 million and I need to send you 50 million more. Okay. Well, Mr. Willis, you don't understand the finer points of Wall Street and how you can, you absolutely right. I understand the finer points of carrying the one and keeping my money. You know, it's like gambling. You know, why don't I like to gamble? Because guess what? I'm not on the field. I'm not part of the variable of control that has anything to do. Now, will I bet on me boxing? Absolutely. But then again, it depends, because if I know who I'm standing across from, and depending on where I'm at, I might bet on him. But the thing about it is stop being just a tool utilized by someone else. Stop walking around not in